Hello and welcome back once again to Organic Cardboard. My name is Owen Kneep, and today I am very excited. I've really been looking forward to doing this. I'm going to do a kind of an all-in-one video over the White Castle. The White Castle is a game produced by DeVere and has the same designers as the Red Cathedral. They're kind of going in this like colored building theme that they're doing. I'm sure there's probably going to be another one at some point later on that's going to be like the Black Tower or something like that. But the White Castle is a very different game than the Red Cathedral. It is another dice placement game, and it's certainly a Euro. And one of the neat things about the White Castle is you literally only have 9 turns to play the whole game. So all of your choices are a little bit I guess complicated in a sense, but it does play relatively quick for a kind of medium weight Euro game. And so it's been one that I have gotten the opportunity to play a couple times now on Tabletop Simulator, but I have not actually had the physical copy until now. And I've been waiting to open this physical copy for a couple days until I had the opportunity to actually do this on video. So what I would like to do is I would like to do an unboxing of this. I just got this. I guess this is what, a retail version of this. I don't know if they ever did anything other than retail with it. And then I'd like to go ahead and set it all up, and we'll do a solo playthrough, and then I'll talk about it afterwards and kind of give my. I guess at this point I can actually give a review. I thought this might be just a first impressions, but since I have played it a couple times now, I'll be looking forward to actually being able to do a full review of this. Now, the designers for this are Shay S. and Isra C. You've got the artwork by Joan Guardier. Maybe that's how you Guardier. I'm not sure how you pronounce that last name. And obviously, the Shay and Isra just have their names abbreviated, so it makes it easier on everybody. We can just say S and C for that. Now, I got this from Game Nerds, and I did not. I don't know. It does have where it shows that there's promos with it, so I'm not sure what. It didn't advertise that when I went to buy it, or I didn't notice if it did. But it has a sticker on the front here that does say that there's promos with it. So maybe there's a couple, extra pieces just to add some more variety in this setup. So I'm going to go ahead and just start opening it up, and I'll kind of talk about it as I go. We'll see what we got in here. Okay, so this game is based off of an actual castle that is in Japan. I think it's called Himeji Castle, and I've heard people say, "Oh, this theme's kind of pasted on." I mean, I guess in a sense, but it does have some key features from Himeji Castle. It's got these bridges that are, I guess, iconic, and it goes along with where the gardens are at. Of course, the castle itself, and then there's like these training grounds that your warriors are going to. And what you're going to do on every one of your turns is you're going to have these bridges where they've got 3 dice on each one of the bridges. You'll kind of re-roll them for each round. There's going to be 3 rounds with 3 turns on each one. And those dice will go in order value from lowest to highest. And then you can only select the ones on the outside. So you can either select the one that's on the lowest side or the highest side. And then you'll get to place them in one of what we got 6, 7, 8, including your player board. There's like 9 places that you can place dice, unless you count all the different colors on your player board. There's 3 different colored dice, so you could say that there's maybe a total of 12 placement spots on this whole game setup. And you'll get bonuses if you take the lower value die. So when you're trying to decide if you want to take a big die or a low die, that complicates your choices a little bit, because if you take the big die, you will often get money back as a difference for whatever the die placement spot is that you're placing your die at. So for instance, if it has a pip value of 3 on the board, and you're placing a 6 there, you'll get 3 money back. Whereas if you place a 1 in a 3 spot, you actually have to pay 2 money back. So, but the one big bonus, again, on taking the lower die values, you get to activate this lantern icon effect, which is something that you can build out throughout the game and kind of sort of create a, I don't know if tableau is not the word, it's almost like a chain reaction of things that can happen off of that, so it becomes more powerful as the game goes on. So let's see what we got in here. So we've got the rule books. So they give us, yeah, it looks like we've got multiple languages here. So there's at least 5 different languages. And then we have all of the pieces. So we've got there's 3 different kinds of meeples that will get placed out to do various things on the board. You've got gardeners, you've got warriors, and you've got these courtiers. These are the first player tokens. There's little cranes, or like the, not first player, but the turn order tokens. And then we've got the dice themselves, white, red, and black. This red's kind of like a coral red, pink kind of color. It's almost in between like a red, pink, orange color. But these will be all of the dice that we're going to be using. And let's see. So this is the promo 1 that came with my copy. I don't know if that's just because it's an early copy or if this is something they're planning to put out in a lot of the retails. But it's just a few more of these dice, like the where you're going to be placing these randomized whenever you're creating the board on these different sections where it can activate based off of the die color. And then on the back of them, they have these icons as well where you will affect this one action where you go to the well. It's like a special action that you can do that may give you certain effects as well. So I am going to try, like I said, I want to try to do this in real time if I can, if this works. And I'm going to put this all together just to show what it's like when you're first setting up this game. So I'm going to go ahead and get the board out. Actually, you know what? Until I get everything completely out here, I'm going to move this off to the side because I know it's going to probably affect how my camera focuses. So I'm going to set that off to the side for just a moment. I'll go ahead and get the cards out here. So, let's see. Okay. I believe I can do this probably without having to look at the rule book at all. I'll separate all these different card sections out. We've got the solo cards. I have not played solo yet again, but I have gotten to watch some videos of how that's done. And it's, again, very Euro game. There's going to be a lot of, just kind of iconography. It's not that hard to pick up. Iconography is pretty easy to understand from the get-go. Okay. So let's get out the different cardboard pieces that we have. Parts for the player boards. These are little tracks that are going to more or less simulate a dual layer, even though it's not dual layer, it just has holes going all the way through it for you to place your little cubes, though, to track your resources. And because I'm just going to be playing solo, I think I'm going to just put the extra ones off to the side, but we will need to punch out the money. And for time's sake, I'm not going to punch out the centers of all these little money tokens. They've got those little squares in the middle to put kind of like a hole in it to make it look like it's a stamped, punched out coin. But I will pull out these daimyo tokens. And we'll get all of these other bits or parts to randomize the board setup. So that's another kind of fun thing about this puzzly Euro action dice placement kind of game is that you're going to have a varied board every time you set it up, so you don't know exactly what's going to be where. And that's what all of these little iconography tokens are for. Now we've got these bridges are going to be kind of fun. I'm going to see how quickly we can put those together, and maybe we can show again the kind of real-time effect of setting this game up from the get-go. Pull them all out, pull them all out. So the name of the game for this, from what I can tell, is that it's really one of those games that's your primary focus is to maximize all of your chain reactions that can happen during a turn. And of course do them as efficiently as possible. Just like most Euro games, you're trying to make as efficient of movements as you can. And so again, having that option to take that low die value and be able to kind of pump up that lantern space and give you some really big actions from that is pretty neat. There's a lot of fun chain reactions that can happen because again, you're only having 9 turns total on this game. So you have to really figure out how to make those 9 turns work for you. But you can have a turn that ends up having 3 or 4 actions in it if you set it up right. Okay. So there's a lot of little pieces for these bridges. And you could certainly play without the bridges set up, but for fun, I'm going to go ahead and set these all up. And of course, I'll timestamp all this stuff. If you are watching up to this point and you want to fast forward, feel free to do so. I just thought it'd be fun to actually do a video in real time. Most of my videos are in real time. I don't like to really edit a lot of time out. I like to have a kind of a normal conversation when I'm having when I'm doing a video. Yeah, so all of these little tokens here that I'm pulling out right now are going to be, I wonder if that top camera is probably going to have a hard time just picking out what the heck it wants to focus on. But all of these little colored dice here are, colored dice icons are going to be you'll randomize these and place them out onto the board. So that whenever you take a die action in a certain space, it may activate multiple spaces at the same time if they're all the same color. But we don't really know. We're only going to ever have max 2 getting activated at the same time. They'll line up with different actions that will happen on those locations. See if I can do this without tearing up the backs here. Very lightly peeled back some of the paper on that one. Lots of little holes, lots of little spots here to pull out of these bridges. Okay. All right, so let's see how we construct one of these bridges here. I think probably do this pretty quickly. So we've got a kind of base of the bridge, got 2 sides, got a central spot here. These are going to be where the outside dice will sit at. And then this will kind of lock it all in place on the edge. Maybe I can do this without looking at the instructions. All think that's together as it should be on that side. I'm not sure. I guess those are okay. I got these little long skinny pieces that kind of go up underneath, I guess just to secure everything and kind of make it cohesive. Pop together this side, goes in this way. I'm going to get really efficient at building these bridges right at the point that I'm done doing it. All right, so there's one little black bridge, and we're just going to do that a couple more times. Probably do it faster now that we've got one together. And we slide in here, slide in the sides. Do we need to fit this in here? Now I have heard too that because these are in these like kind of DeVere tiny boxes, these are pretty small. These bridges can get in the way for some people to put away, so I'll have to just see later how that goes. I don't think I'll be putting it away at the end. Maybe I will. Maybe I'll put it away at the end. We'll see how this goes. We'll see how well we can pack it all away once we're done. But, you know, I don't have any, like, they didn't give extra bags for the cards or anything like that, so I could kind of just toss it all in at the end and see how it kind of lays in there, so we can kind of see how that box space works. But there's a second bridge already done. And now we'll finish the red, coral red color bridge. Like I said, I'm going to get real efficient on this last one, now that we've had some practice. Not too terribly fiddly to get together. Slide this down in here. And let's get one more in on the other side. Okay. There we go. Didn't even have to look at the rolls. So nice. So now we have the 3 bridges. And let's go ahead and move some of this stuff off to the side so that we can go ahead and start getting that board put up here. All of our tokens, different piles of cards. Okay. So I want to make sure that's sitting in the camera decently. I don't think we'll need anything at the top, so I'm going to put it kind of close to the top there. Okay, I think that'll work. All right, so our bridges, we'll go right over the colored spaces here. Adds a nice little effect on the board. And we'll just put piles here for the daimyo tokens and the monies. The big ones are 5s. All right, so now we have to randomize again all of these little cubes here, or squares, square tokens. And we just start putting them out and filling up these spaces. We just can't have more than 2 of the same color. I think in these top ones, they might even have to be different. I'm not 100% on that. So these again will line up to different little cards once we get those laid out, and we'll get to take those extra actions potentially, which it looks like it lined up pretty well. We've got 2 blacks over here and 2 whites over here. Now I'll take a couple of the leftovers, which I didn't even punch out all. You know, I'm probably going to just leave these promos out just so I don't have to worry about adding those in just yet. But these are going to be the 2 additional ones that don't fit into this castle section. And so we're going to flip those face up. And those are going to refer to what we get whenever we take this well space over here. Okay, I need to roll up these dice. Okay. Huh. Why do we have one? Oh. I didn't grab all the dice. Okay, let's take one of these whites away and we'll roll another red. Okay, there we go. So we've got a 1, 1, and a 6. They give you extra dice so that when you're playing a higher level game, this goes up to 4 players, I believe. And so they give you some extra dice for when you're playing a higher level game. So we got a 4, 4, and a 6 on the black. All right. So we need to populate these spaces along the side. This is kind of like your garden section here. You've got 2 sides, so some of these are going to be a little more powerful, but they're going to cost money to activate them. All right. And these cards won't change throughout the game. They're going to stay the same. Hopefully we don't have too much glare at the top. We'll see how that goes. Normally I would have these cards sleeved, but we literally just opened this game, so okay. These are all the solo cards. Okay. Okay. Those are probably shuffled enough. We'll just lay those, I want to be in the camera, so we'll lay those right there for right now. Okay, and these will be the cards that we'll pick out. Okay, so normally on a game you would have like a selection of these starting cards. They'll give you the starting resources as well as like one beginning action that's going to be on your player board. But for us, since we're playing a solo game, we just kind of shuffle these decks up and pick a random one. So we'll be getting this one, and there's 2 cards that go with this. This will be the one that gives the initial resources, as well as it'll put the first chain on your player your lantern action that you're taking. So we'll just pick a random one right there. Okay. So that means I can take a garden section whenever I place a 6 die here, or pay the difference if I'm paying a lower one. So with this, I get 3 of any type of resource, so I can choose how I want to divvy that up. I'll get 4 coins and 1 daimyo token to start off with. So let's go ahead and pop that in. I guess I need to actually get out my player color pieces here as well. And I'm going to be green. Let's go ahead and we'll make the opposing player red. Let's do that. Which means I also need to get these little tokens out here for starting points. So we'll just place those right there for right now, because we don't start with any points, I don't believe. And they just give you colored cubes for the resource colors. So I can put these any way I want to. I like the idea of having a couple pearls to be able to place down something, courtier when I can. And I'm going to take one food because it's going to let me take one of the garden actions with the resources that I had to start off with. And now this card is then going to flip over, and it's going to have a certain production that's going to show up if I take that lantern action. So as is right now, if I take a low die, or if I activate a lantern icon somewhere on the board, then I'll get to activate this as well, so I'll get one iron. And iron is used for putting out your warriors. Okay. So then we have, these cards are going to go into the second from the top section of the castle. Going to quickly shuffle those a little bit, and we'll put a couple of these out. So again, these show what actions can happen off of that die placement in those areas. It also shows you what icon would go on your lantern space later on. That whole stack of cards are those are cards that can be collected as you're moving your courtier up the castle. And then you'll get to get like a bonus point whenever your lantern action takes effect, if you take one of those kind of darker backed cards. So we'll populate the board here with all the different actions that can be acquired on the first row of the castle. And then those will give you a money on your lantern whenever you take that action. So we've got a bunch of different colored meeples here. These are the warriors. And pull out the solo opponent's stuff here. The solo opponent doesn't pay for resources, and I don't believe they'll actually they don't have to have a board. I know that. Okay, and then we're just going to populate these boards. Your solo opponent does not have a board that they require. One of my little wooden meeple pieces here is almost broken off to lose his sword. I'll have to glue that later, but it's okay right now. So we can just cover all these little spaces. So these are spaces that will, as they get uncovered throughout the game, they'll end up potentially allowing you to get more resources if you take that player board action, which is kind of a big action to take. It takes a level 6 die, or cost difference again, to place those. But as you start placing more of these meeples out, it might be more worthwhile to do so, because eventually you're going to start producing a lot of resources whenever you take that action. And then you also get to get whatever this special action is off to the side, and this will change as well. So once I start putting courtiers out into the castle, I'll be able to start taking those cards, and will replace this card, and this will just turn over and become part of my chain of actions that happens off of my lantern board. And now I'm going to play on the easy version of the solo opponent, and I don't expect to win. From what I've seen, it's pretty difficult to beat the solo opponent. You do get to go first, though, in the turn order when you're playing on the easy mode. So I'm going to put myself there. Okay. And I think maybe there's one other set of cards that I have not put out just yet. It's these ones right here. So this is the top of the castle. Whenever you get one of your courtiers to the top of the castle, you can place it in one of these sections, and then you'll get to get whatever that benefit is, as well as your lantern space action. And we do have to shuffle up and put out these bonus actions that happen whenever you're placing a warrior out into the training fields. So this one goes face up. That one's going to let me take any color die action on the board. And that's going to give 2 daimyo tokens as well. This one lets you take any of the actions on your player board. And so these are double-faced. You got one that's kind of a lighter color and one that's a little yellowy, so you just match those to whatever the colors are on the section that you're placing these at into the training fields. This one will let me take a well action whenever I place a warrior out there. And we've got a couple extras that we'll just put off to the side. I believe that has the whole board set up now. I'm going to try to just do like a real quick overview of how this game is going to play. I know I've been kind of babbling on about it, but I'm going to do a real quick overview of the different things that I can do and then what effects those are going to have. So I already explained that we're going to be taking dice from these bridges. You're either taking the high value or the low value. They could be the same if all your die had rolled the same numbers, but you're either taking the high value is going to be the one on the right, low value is going to be the one on the left. Once one of those die are taken, then we'll shift the closest one in the middle, which in a 2-player game or a solo game, there'll only be one in the middle. That'll shift over to the left or the right, depending on which die gets taken first, and then that'll become the low or the high die. When we're taking that low die action, again, we get to activate that lantern space action. When you take that high die, oftentimes, especially in the beginning, you're maybe going to want to do that more because it gives you money back whenever you're placing on one of these die actions that are of a lower pip value. We'll place those in any one of these sections of the castle track here, the well, these 2 spots here that let you put meeples out. And then we also have the 3 spots on our player board. These are the only ones on your player board, are the only ones that you have to actually match the color to. The rest of them you don't have to match the color to. You just have to be able to either have that high of a pip value or pay the difference if you're going to put a lower number die on those spaces. In a 2-player game or a solo game, which is essentially like a 2-player game, you cannot put any more than 1 die in any one of these sections during a round. After the end of that round, then you'll clear all these off, and we'll re-roll all of the die and set them back on the bridge. But in a 3 or 4-player game, you would actually be able to stack them once, and then it would change the pip value of that space to whatever the first placement die was. So if this 3, if somebody put a 6 there, if somebody else wanted to put one over on it afterwards, then they would have to deal with that 6 pip die value. And then we have, again, all of the actions that'll happen on any of these die spots. Now, I said that there's no color requirements necessarily, except you do actually have kind of a color requirement because each of these are going to have one of at least one of 2 different options. This one you could put any one of the 3 colors on it the way that it's laid out. And then you'll take whatever actions are in those spaces. Like if I put a white die here, I'd get 2 points, and then I could pay a daimyo token. Anytime you see these red numbers, it means it's a payment. I could pay a daimyo token to then also take a training ground action where I can place out a warrior if I have the resources to pay for that warrior. You're going to have 3 different meeple placements that you can do, which are kind of listed down here as well. And you'll see these icons repeat themselves sometimes again on the cards, usually where you have to pay an extra daimyo token for it. This one, you don't have to pay a daimyo token for this one. You just have to have a black die to get this action. These die color spots are going to remain the same for the rest of this game, but again, these cards may change as we start getting courtiers up on the board. So with these 3 different meeple actions that you can put these meeples out on the board with, you're going to have to be able to pay whatever the cost is for the space that you're putting them at. But we'll go ahead and go through each one of them. This bridge section refers to the gardens around the bridges, and you'll place one of your little gardener characters out there, and you'll see on each one of these cards it'll tell you the food cost, so your gardeners always cost food to put out. And then when you place them here, you'll get to take whatever that action is that's next to it. And at the end of the round, if there are any die, it doesn't have to be like if you put a gardener here on the low side, it doesn't matter if there's a die on the low side. If there's a die anywhere on this bridge, though, then you will get to reactivate it. So if everybody takes all the die from that bridge, then that gardener doesn't get a second activation, but you can potentially get a second activation for putting your gardeners out. That's how the gardeners are going to work. They do have these high value spots. They have point values at the end of the game for wherever they're placed at, and these ones that are more expensive to get out are going to give you more points, but they'll also cost money to do the actions, which tend to be more powerful actions, but hence is one of the reasons why you might want to put those higher pip value dice out first so that you can start acquiring some money to take some of those bigger actions when they show up. The next meeple action that you can do, though, is has this little castle symbol, and that means to put one of your courtiers out. Your courtiers will always start in this bottom section here. You'll have to pay 2 money to get a courtier out, and it'll go into this this gateway. And then at that moment, if you want to, and if you have the resources to do it, you can pay Mother of Pearl, and that will allow you to move your character up the castle track here, or section. You have an option to do either a 2 Mother of Pearl payment to move up 1 space, or if you have it, you can pay 5 Mother of Pearl and move it up 2 spaces. You also don't have to put the courtier that you just placed out in that gate section. That doesn't have to be the one that's moved, but whenever you do a movement action, it has to be just one of those courtiers. It can't you can't divvy it up. So if you do a 2 movement action, you can't move one up 1 space and another up 1 space. You have to choose if you're going to do it all on one or none. So you may have times where you're putting courtiers out here in the gate that aren't really doing anything for you. They give you 1 point at the end of the game, but they don't bonus off of, they don't do anything more than that. But at least you'll have them out there, and then on another round, if you activate that action again, you could just pay the money or just pay the pearls to move that one up instead of having to put another one out on the gate. So you want to take those when you can as you go, because every time one of those courtiers moves up the track, you will get to take one of the white actions that are on these cards immediately, and then you'll also remove that card, and that'll become the new special card on your player board, and then this whatever one that was already there will flip over and become part of the chain of your lantern action. So eventually these will kind of build out, and you'll start again getting extra actions whenever you're doing your lantern icon action. So they have point values at the end of the game depending on where they're at on this castle track. If you get all the way to the top, they're worth 10. You also can do the special action. You can only have 1 courtier in each one of these spaces. I didn't mention it with the gardeners. You can also only have 1 of your gardeners in each of these sections. But your courtiers can pile up in these lower sections. So you can have multiple courtiers in the same of the different spots here along the castle, except for the top. You can't have multiple courtiers here. You just can't have them multiplied in these sections here. You can only have 1 for each of these sections that are showing up at that top card. And that card won't change. It'll stay the same for the rest of the game. And then the last main action, or the meeple placement action, is to go to the training fields, and that's to put out one of your little samurai warriors. And they'll go into one of these sections. There'll be the cost value. These are 5 iron, 3 iron, or 1 iron. To place that out there, and then you'll get to take whatever the action is that comes along with this board setup. And at the end of the game, these guys will multiply your courtiers. So for every courtier that you have out in the castle, not at the gate, but actually inside the castle, they will multiply based off of your warriors that you have out here. So these two sections will multiply it 1 times, and this one that costs 5 iron will multiply it twice. So let's say you had like 5 courtiers out here at the end of the game. If you had 2 warriors here, 2 warriors here, and then you had 1 warrior here, that would be 1, or that would be 2 plus 2 if you had 2 in each of these and 1 in here. So that would be a total of 6 times the courtiers in your castle. So 6 times 5 at that point would be 30 points. That's how those guys can really multiply your points. So that's how the samurai. I'm gonna keep kind of mixing up, calling them samurais and warriors. I think they're just called warriors. That's how those guys are going to affect the game. And then one of the other actions that you can do is for a 1 pip value. This is the only action that you can just place as many die as you want to throughout the round. For a 1 pip die value, you will get to take the well action, which always gives you a daimyo token. And then you can get these specific extra resources based off of how this board is initially set up. And again, these will not change throughout the game. And then the last thing you can do, again, is take these actions on your player board. They'll always have 1 open space to begin with. And you take whatever you have to have the actual colored die to place in whatever section here. And you'll also get whatever that big action is off to the side. So if I placed a 6, a red 6 here, I would get 1 food, and then I would also get to take that garden action. I could potentially put out a gardener at that point as well. Now the rounds we'll go through 3 rounds. So this will move down the end of each round, and we'll do those special gardening actions. On that 3rd round, though, you don't get to get the bonus action. You only can get that potential bonus action twice throughout the game. You have a track that's going to refer to it's like your influence or whatever, and this will be moved up with these little crane icons that show up throughout the game. And whoever's in the lead will be the person who gets to go first in the next round. So they don't change. We don't change like turn order throughout in an individual round, but in the subsequent rounds we'll change those out. And whoever is on top will be first. So if the solo opponent moved over 1 and then I moved over 1 and we ended the round like that, I would still get to go first, or vice versa. So they kind of leap over each other. Whoever's on top ends up being the one that gets to go first. But yeah, we'll just play through those 3 rounds, and we'll see how it goes. We do have a solo deck here as well, and the solo deck will show. We'll end up pulling 1 card off, and when we pull 1 card, I'll just do that real quick. I'll reshuffle these. But as an example here, we would lay 1 card over to the side, then we would look for the die that are in whatever place that it's showing on this card. If that one's available, this one's showing a die in the middle of the bridge on the red. I would then take that die off and we'd place it in this section. So this has a picture that's related to one of the sections on the castle. So I'd place that die there, which would block me from taking that action. And then the solo opponent would get to do these actions that are on the side over here. And so they don't take the normal actions that are on the board. They'll have their own actions that they get to take over on the side. If this was not available, if we had already moved the red dice and there wasn't one in the middle, we'd draw a second one. And then if that white die then is available on the left, they'll place it again wherever it shows, and they'll get to do both of these actions. So they get to take like a double. It's to kind of simulate them having somewhat of a chain reaction of things, because as you play as the person with a brain, you'll get to kind of figure out how you chain your actions together, and so this gives them an option to do so as well. And so they'll do whatever they can here to match these actions. If this still is not available, we'll keep drawing, and we might end up having like a whole chain of cards here. And eventually one's going to be available for them to take. And then what they'll do is they'll take the 2 furthest out, the 2 most recent ones that were pulled out. and then we'll just put the other ones back on the bottom of the deck and reshuffle these at the end of the round. So I'm going to go ahead and shuffle those up just a little bit again. But pretty simple actions that the solo opponent takes. It should make this game go a little quicker too, since we don't have to wait for somebody to take actions. This game plays relatively fast. I think about an hour and a half. It seems like most of the games, maybe the more people you have, the longer it's going to stretch out. It might be 2 hours on a 2-player game, especially in your first games of it. But it feels pretty quick. Especially since you only have literally 9 full actions that you can take at any point. So we'll start that off right there. So I'm going to get to go first. So I'll see what I have available here to take. So first thing I want to look at is like double actions I can take. I've got the 2 black dice here. I've got the 2 white die here. I did want to get a courtier out, and the garden section is always nice, but that's not a double action. And let's see. So there is a 6 pip value black die, and I'm going to go ahead and take that. I'm going to try not to think too hard as we go throughout this game. I'm just going to try to keep this moving along. So I take that 6 die, put it over there. I'm going to put this 4 down, so now that's the high value. Even though these two are the same, this is still technically the low value, and that's the high value. And so I'm going to get 3 coins. And I forgot I did not actually grab my 4 coins to start the game off with, so I'll go ahead and set those off to the side here with me for right now. So I'll get 3 coins because I put a 6 in a 3 pip value spot, so we'll go ahead and take that. And then I'll do these 2 actions. I'll get to, and you can do these in any order. I'll take the 2 food. So now I'm at 3 food, and I will pay 1 daimyo token, which I have, to take a courtier action. So now I'm going to pay 2 money and put out one of my courtiers. They're going to go right here in the gate. And now at this point I can pay Mother of Pearl. I do have 2 Mother of Pearl, so I'm going to go ahead and pay those down. And that will allow me to move this up and take one of the actions from one of these cards. I can kind of steal it off the board and get to take the action. I kind of like the well looks pretty good right now. This is going to give me 1 iron and then 1 of any resource that I would like. So that one's attractive. And then let's see, we could take just straight up 2 iron. I like the idea of having a daimyo token though, because these daimyo tokens, you can use those in a couple different ways. There's going to be a lot of spaces that you might pay a daimyo token to take an extra strong action with. But you can also always trade out 2 daimyo tokens for any 1 resource if you really need it at that moment. You can also change out 1 for 1 coin, but you can only hold 5 total at a time. So you can't just totally stock up on those. But I'm going to go ahead and move it up here. So I get to take 1 of these white die actions again. I'm going to go ahead and take that well action. So I'll get 1 coin. I'll get 1 daimyo token back. And then I'll get an iron. And I get 1 additional resource. I think I may just take the food. We can start getting some gardeners out. So now this card is then going to flip over. So now when the lantern action happens, I'll also get to move up the influence track. And now this is going to take the place of that. And now these actions are specific. So anytime I take one of these 6 die actions, I can only take the action that it's lined up to along this card here. So now we're going to take the solo opponent's first turn. We're going to drop a card off here. And he's going to look, so he's got the left white die, so he's going to take this die. And they don't pay resources for anything. The only resource that they get is money. But he's going to go into this space right here, which sucks because that's the double white space action. But this is what he's going to do. He's going to place his courtier out. And then he's going to move it up 1. So when he places his courtier out here, he's also going to get to move up 1 space. I did forget to replace this card from the one that I took earlier. Okay. So he does get to move up one space, and then he will, I can choose which space he goes up. He'll always move his lowest courtier first. And I can choose which card he's going to end up taking. So if there's one I want to switch out. And I kind of like the idea of potentially being able to do an extra garden action here. So I think we'll maybe we'll have him go ahead and take this. Now his pip value was only one of this spot that he placed. Normally you'd have to pay a couple coins for this. They never have to pay anything. If his pip value of the die he took though was higher than 3, he would gain coins. At the end of the round, they'll get to exchange coins too, based off of like their order and like if they're first or not in the order track for who gets to go first. He'll get more coins if he's first, and then it'll also be based off of the round that we're at as well. So he takes this. So he's going to have this card now. And then this card, I believe, is just removed whenever we do that, and we just replace it with a new one. Because I don't believe they're going to do any lantern actions where they're chaining those. Then we have a new card out in that section. And that would be the end then of their first turn. Now, if there are ever actions on the cards after having a die that's available that they can't take these actions, they're going to get a bonus for that. The bonus that they're going to get here for that would be that they would get to move up the point track here based off of the round that they would be at. So in the first round, if they couldn't take, for every action they couldn't take, they'd get 1 point essentially for it. At the end of a round 2, I don't think I mentioned this. They're going to acquire coins throughout a round, and they'll get to trade those out. So at the end of a round, they'll spend as many as they can, and the way that works is if they are first in the turn order selection there, then they'll get, for every 3 coins, they'll get a number of points based on the round. So 1 point for every 3 for the first round, 2 points for every 3 on the second round. If they're in the second place, though, they have to pay 5 coins for every one of those. So ideally, you want to kind of stay ahead of them as you can. That's going to be their first turn then, and we'll just put this on the bottom. Now we will see what we want to do. So there's still one 6-point pip value die out. I did want to put a gardener out if I could. There are some good sections for that, so let's go ahead and take that while the getting's good. And we'll get 3 more coins. I'm going to go ahead and trade these out just so it's more clear how many I have. Okay. And we're going to then take this action where I'm going to pay a daimyo token to put a gardener out. And I have some options here. I do have 4 food. This one will let me take any white color action that's on the board, which is pretty nice. And then I will get to repeat that again later. I kind of like that. I like the idea of moving up on the position for the next round too. Okay. I kind of like that. I feel like there's going to be more options. There's still 2 red die there, and I'm probably not going to be taking red die actions. So let's go ahead and put a worker right here. We'll pay 2 food. And I get to take any white face action on these cards through here. So I think it's really nice, the idea of just getting any 2 resources. But I think, I don't know, this one's kind of nice too, because I could just move up 1 track and take the lantern action, which will give me another 1 and a iron. So that one's actually better than this one right here. If I wanted 2 iron, I could take that one too. Or if I wanted a mother of pearl, I could take that one. So think it wouldn't be bad. So I could get 2 mother of pearl with this one. I may go ahead and take that with this so that I could move up and get ready to take a extra courtier action later on, because I need to have at least 2 mother of pearls. So, oh, I'm sorry. That actually is the well action here. I'm getting the lantern and the well mixed up. So, do I want that? There are no free will actions on the board. So I think we will stick with this one, because I want to go ahead and move up on that track here. And so that's going to let me move up 2 crane spots, because I'm going to get to activate my lantern as well. So we'll go up 2 here. Now when I need to cross over in these 2 sections, these are kind of representing seasons. When you're crossing from spring to summer, you'll have to pay a daimyo token, and then from spring, I guess, to fall. I don't know. This is kind of weird. Yeah, I guess this would be fall. I'd have to pay 2 when I cross here and 3 when I cross here. It's not likely that I'm going to get that high up, but we'll see. No telling. So I will get 1 iron for that as well. Okay. So let's go ahead and pull off the next solo card. So he's looking for, oh, I need to move this red die over here too. So he's looking for the black on the right, and he's going to place into, so that section is covered. So since this section is covered here, he's not going to place on the on that. He can't, because we're playing a 2-player game. You can't stack them up. So what he'll do is place on the well, and he doesn't get to get any of these bonuses. He just gets the coins. So he's going to get 3 coins now, which he'll be able to, again, trade in for points later. So now I'm going to take my last action for the round. It would not be bad to get another gardener out. However, I won't be able to do the double up action if I take a black die to do that. And I don't know what he's going to take next. So it's a little bit of a gamble at this point. Let's see, there's only 1 section on the board that I can get here for free if I take the black die to put a gardener out. Or I could place down here and take one of those basic meeple placement actions, but I'll have to pay to do that. Though, you know, I'm gonna take that gamble because it might work out for me. I can take the leftmost die here and place it here. I'll pay 3 coins to pay the difference. And that will activate my lantern action first. So we'll move up 1 space on the influence track. I'll gain an extra iron. And then at this point, I will get to put another gardener out. We're going to pay 1 food to put another gardener. We can place it into this section, which will give me 2 of any resource. I do like having Mother of Pearl. Oh, another gardener wouldn't be bad to have either, but I feel like it's still going to be best to start getting some courtiers out. So let's go ahead and get 2 Mother of Pearl for later. Okay, so we need to put this back on the bottom from the last action that was taken. So now he wants to take the right black die. He can, oh wait, I'm sorry, this flips over. He wants to take the middle red die, cannot take it. So now this is going to let him do that double action. Now he's going to take that rightmost red die. which stinks that he gets to take a double action, but at least it does leave the die in the spaces for my gardeners, so they'll get to double up on their actions later. So he's going to take this, this red 1, and he wants to place it in the exact location that I already have a die at. So he gets to just go over to the well. He does not get any coin difference because it's only a 1, so this is pretty lucky so far. Now he's going to try to do these 2 actions here. So he's then going to want to place a gardener in the lowest section of this track here. Lowest cost value. Lowest point value, I'm sorry. So that would be right here. And then he's going to get 5 coins. And then he wants to put another gardener. And he's going on the left side now, and he's going to the lowest point value space, which would be right next to me right here. And then he wants to move a courtier up, but he cannot. So now he's going to gain 1 point because we're in round 1. Okay. So that is the end of the first round. Now we need to figure out, so we have the same turn order here. I will get to activate these gardeners again. So I would like to take another white action, and you know, it wouldn't be bad to just keep moving my iron up. I could get the two movements up the influence track again and get my iron up. Or I could get any 2 resources. Well, if I get my iron up 1, it'll be nice because I'll have enough to put potentially 2 of these guys out here. So I think I'm going to do that because I feel like I need to stay ahead of him throughout this game. So I'm going to take this action again. So that will give me 1, and we'll do the whole lantern action, which will give me another 1, and I will get 1 iron. Okay. And now he will, the solo opponent will trade in for every 5 coins that they can trade in, they will get 1 point. So go up 1 on the track. Okay, but that is the final end of the round. So let's go ahead and move this big old honking magic looking koi token down once. So now we are in round 2. And we'll gather up all these dice, re-roll them, and replace them. Oh, one other thing I forgot to do too is I did not get my extra 2 resources here as well. And you know, it's really nice to get those 5s out there. And I also would like to be able to get another gardener out as well, though. And I only have 1 food. I'm going to go ahead just for option's sake, and I'm going to move up to on my food track. So let's roll these dice, see what we got. We got some 6s on the reds. 6s, 6s. There'll be a 3 on the low end. 3, 4, and 5 on the white. And then we got a 1, 5, and a 6 on the black. So I'm staying in lead on the turn order. Let's go ahead and shuffle these up. Oh, and one thing I did forget to say as well is this guy, since he got a gardener in one of these active gardener sections with the dice that are available, he also got a point based on the round number again as well. So it was round 1, so he got to get 1 point there. And then he has 1 point here as well, I believe. I'm trying to remember. I think these did have die. I think it had a die in it as well. So I'm going to go ahead and say it did. The tape will show if I'm wrong on that. So we kind of shuffle up the solo deck a little bit. Okay. So what will we do for the first action? We've got those 6s there that are mighty tempting again. We do have the black 6 with the double action space there. However, I do not have a daimyo token in order to get that full activation. So I'd really like to be able to get some daimyo tokens. How can I get daimyo tokens? Well, there's a well action to get a daimyo token. Well, my other option is I could take the white 5 and do the double action for it, which doesn't look too bad either. However, again, if I take that, then I will not be able to move across into the next season. I really need those daimyo tokens. So it would be wonderful if I could get enough iron to get up into that section on the board here to be able to get 2 daimyo tokens and take another die action space. So I think I'm going to go ahead and just get a bunch of resources. Still is not terrible to take. I'd get essentially 1 iron and 1 other resource, but if I take that double white one, I kind of want to take that while it's there because I'm kind of worried that that's going to go away. So let's go ahead and put the 5 there. This might not be the most efficient thing because I don't get to move up. I don't get to move up that influence track, which I hate. I would really like to get a daimyo token ahead of time. Let's play the gamble. Let's hold off. Let's take a well action. I really wish there was a well action somewhere on the board here, but there is not. So let's just take one of these big numbered die off the board and get the points for it. I think I'm going to take this one. We'll put it there. We'll get 5 coins. We've got a lot of money now. Now I'll get 1 daimyo token, I'll get an iron, and now I can choose where I want to divvy this up at. Kind of, especially with having a bunch of money, it's kind of nice the idea of having another farmer out one of the big sections. So let's go ahead and put that up for 1 of those. Okay, and then we'll see what the solo opponent's going to do. Wants to take the black one on the left, which is a 1. And he wants to put it right over here, which doesn't give him any coins, so that's good. Which means this black 5 is going to move down, which is kind of nice because it's a 5 in the low spot. And he wants to put a courtier at the gate. I'm trying to remember. I can't remember if he had this action when I moved the courtier last time, so I may have done that incorrectly. But it looks like he wants to put one at the gate here. And then he's going to get 2 movements up that track and 1 coin. So I may have done this incorrectly because I remember seeing that movement up. I might have missed this. I don't remember if I saw him placing in the gate before he did that action. Oh well, we'll see how that plays out. So now we've got our second die placement of the round. I do have the daimyo token now. I'd really like to get the extra 2 daimyo tokens, but you know, this we've only got this area that I can easily get out another warrior. So I think I'm going to take that. And I do get to do the black die. Okay, so this is going to work out pretty well. Now if I take the low one, I'll get to take a lantern action first. But that would mean that I would have to spend that daimyo token. So I don't think it's really as worthwhile to take that. I think I'm just going to take the extra coins. So we're going to put this here. I get 3 coins. I can do this in what order I want to. I'm going to put take the daimyo token off, put out a warrior. And we're going to spend all 5 of these to place it here, which will then let me take any die action on the space as well as get 2 more daimyo tokens. So what die action do I want to take? So I get to do these in any order I want to, so I'm going to go ahead and take the 2 daimyo tokens first. And now I can... Oh wow, this is going to really chain a lot of stuff possibly. So I would like to get another gardener out, and I'm trying to think of how this is going to chain though if I do this. So if I take a garden section here, because I'll take this action with this any colored die. So I'll place a gardener out. I'm going to spend 4 food to do that. And I'll place it in over, whoops, I grabbed the wrong character. I'll place a gardener over here. Now I can spend 3 coins to then spend 2 coins and put out a courtier. And then I can, so I can either move up this courtier or move that one up and take a white die action. Or a white space action, I should say. Which wouldn't be too bad to take another lantern action while it's there. I can go ahead and get another mother of pearl when I do that. Or I can get a couple more iron by going to this one. I like the idea of moving up the track a little further too. So, So I think we'll go ahead and just place right here. Let's make it simple. So if I place right there, I won't be able to take those 2 really nice double white actions, though he might take it himself as it is. Could use more mother of pearl. I could also just get 2 mother of pearl and have enough to take a whole nother action. I'd really like to have the iron though, I think. So we'll go ahead and just keep it where it's at. I'm going to take that top action there. Now when I do this too, I'll get to immediately place this one over here. which means this one will pop in here. Now I can take that one of those white space actions. I'll take that one with +1 iron, and then we'll take the lantern action. It'll give me another iron. I'll spend the daimyo token so I can move into summer, and that'll give me 3 points at the end of the game if I stay in summer at the end of this. And let's see, I'll get one more coin. Okay, so that's the end of that action. We'll replace this card. See what we got here. Okay. Now, that will be that for right now. Okay. I did have to spend the 2 mother of pearl as well in order to go up into that space. Okay. All right. So let's see what the solo opponent's going to do. I should have put this one on the bottom here. Okay, he wants to take the white over on the right, which is a 5. He's going to place it. So he wants to place it where he's already placed it at, which means he's going to place it right here instead. And he's going to get 4 coins. So let's just trade out one for a 5. And he wants to move his lowest quarter up 2 spaces. So which one do I want him to take? Doesn't really matter too much to me. I mean, I kind of like being able to chain that action later with my gardener. So maybe we'll go ahead and put him up here. So we'll remove this card off. Oh, I did forget to he also wants to take that top action, which means he's going to put a warrior out in the 1 space here. Okay, so not too terrible yet. Okay, so we've got one more action that we can take on this round. It would be really nice to do this. This white die would be over here. So I can chain these together and I can get a couple lantern actions, which would be really nice. So I'll play the 3 here. And I'm going to, we got to do the lantern action first when we do that low die space. So let's get 1 iron. Let's get 1 movement up the influence track here. Let's get 1 coin. And now let's start doing these. I think it'll be good to just go ahead and do this bottom one first. Doesn't really matter too much. And we'll take the whole lantern action again. Just give me another iron. Now we get to move up another space here. This is where we're really chaining some actions together. So that was those 2. Now let's do that top one. So I'm going to pay a daimyo token. I'm going to put another warrior out. Which, well, I'm trying to decide now. I've got quite a bit of iron. I could do that action there and double up and put out. I could do another white die action, but I don't really have what would be required to put out another meeple. I like to get meeples on the board if I can. If I took this one, I could take this 6 die action, but I wouldn't have a daimyo token to put another gardener out. Of course, this wouldn't be bad to just get the whole lantern action all over again. I kind of like the idea of having a couple more daimyo tokens because I'm having to spend them so much, and these guys do double up quite a bit. And there is a 3 resource section right there, so let's go ahead and pop them in right here again. And we'll get the 2 daimyo tokens. I wish I had resources to be able to use those to actually put another warrior out, but we do not. We need to take an action to get resources, and I kind of like being able to keep taking those lantern actions when I can because they're working pretty good for me. There's this one on the board that'll give me another iron, which is pretty nice. So let's just do that. We'll go ahead and get 1 iron. And we'll get a 2nd iron. And move up another space here. I'm really moving up a lot more than I usually ever did on this influence track, which is it's pretty nice. Okay. So those will be those 2 actions. So that's the last one I can take this round. Let's see what the solo opponent's going to do. So they're going to want that white die, but it's not there on the left side, so we're going to go to the next one. They're going to want the black one in the middle. There's not one, so they're going to go to the next one. They want the black on the right. There's not a black one on the right. They're going to go to the next one. Red in the middle. There's no red in the middle. There's no white in the middle. They're going to go through their whole deck here, it looks like. So red on the left. Okay. So I'm going to kind of move these together because we're only going to look at these 2 at the end. In fact, I'll go ahead and just place these all underneath here so it makes it clearer to see. So he's going to take the red die on the left, and he wants to put it right here. So he's not going to get any coins for that. Now he's going to want to put a gardener on the lowest point value space. Oh, whoops. Not one of my gardeners. He's going to take one of his gardeners. He wants to put it on the lowest point space of the left side. Which would be this one right here. And then he wants to move a courtier up 1 space. He's going to go for his lowest courtier, which would be this one right here. And let's have him take, doesn't really matter too much. And I like having those options on that side. So let's let him take this one. I'm going to remove that card off. And then he's going to try to place another gardener out. And now he's going to take the lowest point value of either side. So these 2 are, well, he's already got a gardener here. So I think this is the only other spot he can place one at. That's lowest in value. And then he's going to get to move up 1 on that. And he's going to get 2 points. Okay, so now we'll finish this up. Our gardeners are still activating. So man, okay. I guess I can do this in any order I would like to do because I would like to put out another courtier if I can. So let's see how this is going to chain together. We want to get a couple mother of pearl. So now we would like to be able to place another courtier out. I could take this white face action to get 3 more mother of pearl and do the 5 movement space, which wouldn't be too bad because then we could chain that into a whole nother one by moving up to the very top and getting 3 points. So let's go for that. So we'll use this white face action here to take the 3 extra mother of pearl, put us up to 5. And then I'm going to pay 3 coins to pay 2 coins. So I want to go ahead and just get these courtiers off the board, or off my board. But with the 5, I think I will move. I could just move that one up there and take the 3 for right now. Which is basically the same action I wanted to do with that one, and this gets another one up into the castle. So I'm going to go ahead and do that, actually. I'm just going to move this guy up here and take this, which will plop this down here. But the other thing that could have happened is if I got that other guy up to the top. Well, none of those will let me place a worker out for right now, so let's not worry about that, I don't think. Okay, so we'll just take that. And we got to choose what we want. There is one garden space action. I could put, if I took 3 more. Wouldn't be too bad to have food. So I guess we'll take that for right now. Okay, so we took the 3 food for the white action here. We'll place another guy out. Now they're going to get points based off of the round. So this is for round 2. And so he's going to get 2 points for basically every gardener that he's got out because they're all active. So he's going to get 8 points for that. So that's going to move him up to 14. I don't have any points, in-game points. And he's going to spend coins. So he's going to spend 5 coins to get 2 more points because he is still in second. Okay, so I think that has everybody taken care of here. Let's re-roll these dice. Let's go ahead and move down to round 3. So we're already getting down to the end here. Okay, 1, 2, and 6 for the red. We've got 1, 3, and 5 for the white. And we've got 1, 4, and 5 for the black. Alrighty, let's see what we can do. Okay. So we still got our double space actions. I kind of like that one because it'll let me get another warrior out. I do have 2 iron. I can take a well action immediately afterwards. And if that's a pretty nice one actually, because I'll be able to kind of double up some extra stuff over here. So I could take the low black die and take this action, which will let me do an extra lantern action. I'll have to spend some of my money, which I was kind of money rich for a while in the game, but that's going to go down if I do that. But it will give me enough iron to place a character up into that top right one, which will let me do one of these 6 die actions, which would be not bad, though it'd be better. It would be better if I had 1 more iron, because then I would also be able to place an extra warrior out. So I really want 1 more iron. Though if I take this, I can actually take that twice. That lantern action. So that is what I'm going to do. I'm going to go ahead and take this while the getting's good here. I'm going to have to spend 2 coins to do this. That's going to activate my lantern action immediately, so I'm going to go ahead and put an iron up. And then I will get to move up a point here. I'll then get 2 coins back. And now we'll go through these actions. I'll get a pearl, mother of pearl. I'll get to do this all over again, which is really chaining together. This game has been chaining a lot better than the other games I've played. So we got the extra iron from that. We'll get to move up another one. Now this really stinks, because now I have to decide if I want to spend 2 daimyo tokens to take that action. Shoot. I'm going to hold off on it. I'm going to save my daimyo tokens to not move up one. I'm just going to take the 2 extra coins. Because now I want to be able to spend a daimyo token to do this action here, where I can place another warrior out. And now I can spend the 3 iron to place the warrior over here, which is going to let me take one of those special actions over here, which is going to give me a bunch of extra stuff. So we're going to get, I think I had these guys crowded a little bit before. You get one of any of the basic resources here at the left, and then as the uncover, I think I had them a little crowded before where the first one was showing on each of these, but it's correct now. So I would get 3 food, because I want to take the extra warrior action. So I have to take this top action in order to get that. So I'm going to get 3 food. So we'll go up to 6. Get 2 more coins. It's going to give us a lot of options later here. And then I'll get to put out another warrior. Really clearing off my board here. And let's put them right here, which will let me take the well action. That'll give me 1 more daimyo token. It'll give me another iron. And let's go ahead and get a mother of pearl, because I want to be able to put out another quarter if I can. Wow, that was pretty good. Okay, so let's see what they do. I forgot to shuffle up their deck a little bit here. Okay, so he wants to take the red from the middle. There is a red in the middle, and he wants to place it on this space right here. Now he wants to put a courtier at the gate. Courtier at the gate. And then he's going to get 1 movement up that track, and he's going to get 3 coins. So let's just pop out 2 for a 5. Okay, doing okay. I would like to get more courtiers out, because I want to be able to multiply them with this. For every one courtier in there, I'm going to get an extra 4 points on top of whatever points they have out. So if I'm looking around the board, I'm trying to find the courtier spaces. There's one right there. I certainly have the coins for it. There is a 6-5. Okay. And then I could also spend my 2 daimyo tokens to pop up the track a little further. I've got a lot of gardeners here too. So it wouldn't be too bad to get a garden action either. So I do like the idea of being able to bump up that track further, because I feel like I might get... Only got 2 more turns left, so I'm not going to get too many more lantern actions. But it would be nice to get those extra 3 points. Though if I put a gardener out, I've got quite a bit of money. I can activate these extra actions here too. And these are worth quite a few over here. I can chain... Well, I can't put another gardener in a section where I already have a gardener, so... So I won't be able to take that one, but I could take the one to put an extra warrior out, which will give me the extra daimyo token. Okay. That doesn't sound too bad. So there is that black one up there. This was supposed to move down. Well, I wouldn't mind doing this. But I need a garden section, so I'm looking for these little bridge symbols. And this may be the only other one over here. So what are the high values? I kind of like the idea of going ahead and spending those daimyo tokens. And I could just get a... Could get a bunch of mother of pearl this way. And I can move up that track and get an extra daimyo token. Okay, so I do want to take one to maximize my lanterns here. I might as well take the 4 black so I won't have to pay as much. And so I'll have to pay 1 coin to go in that space. And let's place a gardener. And I think, as much as I would like to place another warrior out, this one looks pretty nice right here. It's going to give me quite a bit of mother of pearl. So we'll place right here. It's going to cost me 3 food. And I'll spend 4 coins to get to take this action. So I'm going to take this bottom action here. I believe. Hopefully this is smart. Could take that middle action. Oh, I forgot I took the low die value too, so I was actually supposed to go ahead and take my whole lantern action set up. So that's where I lose those 2 daimyo tokens to move over again. So I really want the daimyo token there, so I don't really want to... As nice as it would be to get 5 more iron out, it's a little chancy. Well, there are 2 spots for it. Yeah, let's go ahead and take the... I'd like courtiers out, though. It's getting a little difficult to think about. Do I want courtiers or do I want another big... You know, I feel like this big one's going to chain quite a bit, so I think I'd rather just take the iron. I've got 2 iron already. If I take that, I could just get 4 mother of pearl. Okay, and then we can chain it off of this. So we're going to take this bottom white die action. We'll get 4 mother of pearl. So that'll put us up to 6. We'll get a daimyo token back. I do need those. And then with the other 3, we'll go ahead and get 5, or get our iron up to 5. Okay. So that was my second die placement action. Let's see what they're going to do. They want to take the white on the left. There is a white on the left. So we'll go ahead and pop this guy down. This white die wants to go right here. So they're not getting any coins. Now they want to place a gardener in the lowest section of the left side. They have gardeners in all those, so they cannot do that. We are in round 3, so they're going to get 3 points for that. They can't do an action. And then he wants to move his lowest courtier up a space. It doesn't really matter because I can't really take any of these cards. We'll go ahead and let that one there. I mean, I can take them whenever I take a courtier up there, but I can't really utilize those spaces because they're already covered with dice. So we'll let them go right there. Okay. Last action. What is going to happen? Man, I've got no in-game points. This is all going to be end-of-game points. So I really want to figure out a way that I can place both a warrior and a courtier out. And I want to get a courtier up high. And because I'm going to have so many warriors out, it'll probably benefit me to get a warrior just up into this middle section because they'll multiply it as well, rather than leave one at the gate and like move up one of my lower ones to the top. So, first thing I need to do is figure out how to get a warrior out. So I've got one right there. That'll probably be the simplest way to do it. I'll get a coin back when I do that. I don't have to pay a daimyo token to do that either. Yeah, because once I put a warrior right there, I'll be able to chain that die action and then put a courtier out from right here as well. So I think that's the smoothest way of doing it. The only other option is I could take a like this white die here to double up this action. I don't really know if that's benefiting me too much. I mean, I get to move up one more space in the turn track, but I'm not going to get so high that I'm all the way up into these really high numbers. So, just trying to make sure there's not any other special action that'll let me do something extra funky here. Because if I get a courtier up here, I can take the lantern action. No. Okay, let's just stop thinking about it too much. It doesn't really benefit me too much to get the extra stuff right now, so I guess I'll just take that black 5 or the red 6. Let's take it right here. We'll get 1 coin. And then I will place out a warrior for 5, which will be my last warrior. It's going to go in right here. So I'll get 2 daimyo tokens. And then I'm going to take an any die action, so we'll take the courtier action there. And man, we have like cleared off so many meeples off of this board. So we'll pay 2 to put them in the gate. And then I'm going to pay the 5 to move it up twice. Now at this point, if I instead had moved it up here, I'm trying to think if I can get my turn order track to actually surpass into that next section. That'd be really nice if I could. Because if I took a low die value instead of this 6, I could have activated this, which would move me up 3. Still is not quite enough to get me up into the extra higher point scoring sections. So I don't think that's going to really matter too much. Yeah, I don't think that's going to really make enough of a difference. So let's go ahead and pop you up. Do that. Still thinking about how I could have gotten that all the way up there. Take 2 lantern actions from having to have done it that way. I guess this is the last thing I'm going to be able to do. So I guess it doesn't really matter too much. The only other way that I could get up into that higher point scoring section is if I ended up, instead of moving this guy here, I just moved one of my other courtiers up there. But I feel like these guys are multiplying so much that I need one into the actual castle. And these are giving me 6 points. So I'm going to pop in over here. Let's just do that. I don't think there's any, maybe there's a benefit for having money. I got to double check that on the end game scoring. So we'll go ahead and go here. We'll take this. We'll pop this over here. Oh, well, yeah, that kind of works out because it gives me the extra point. So these go over here, and then I'll get to do this white die action, get another daimyo token, and we'll get to get all this stuff, which not that it really matters. Let's go ahead and track it just for the sake of tracking it. 2 coins and a point. That definitely matters. I am on the track now. All right. This is going to go over here. All right, I think that's all I can do. Let's see what they do. White on the right. White die wants to go in one of these sections, but it can't, so he's going to get 4 coins. Let's just trade out that 1 for a 5. Now he wants to place a warrior out in the 3 iron section. And then he wants to move a courtier up. So he's going to move his lowest courtier up 1 space. It really doesn't matter at this point where he moves to, so let's just take him right here. All right, easy peasy. We got all 6 dice on the board. I believe that is done, so now we'll just look at the final scoring here. So the first thing he's going to score is he's going to get the 2 5s here. He's going to get to move up 6 points for that because we're in round 3. So he's going to go up to 25 already. And that's kind of that final end of that round before we go into the basic scoring here. So now I'm going to score my coins and resources. So for every 5 coins, I get 1 point. And I would get to count my daimyo tokens, but they're just 1 short of giving me an extra point, but we'll get 2 points for that. And then we'll score the passage of time. So I gain 6 points for that. He's still low, so he's not going to get any more, so it's going to put me to 9. And then now we do the clan members. So this will get, a little extra pointy here. So we'll go ahead and just do it to the left first. So let's score all of our gardeners. So I'll do mine first. We've got 3 here, 7 here, that's 10. 1 here, so that's 11, and 5 here, so that's 16. Plus 9 would be 25. Hey, how you doing, buddy? Pretty good. I'm going to pass you quickly. So now they're going to score a bunch. They're going to score 5 and 5's 10. That'll be 11. And 3 more is going to be 14. So 14 plus 25 puts it right at 39. So now let's go into the castle itself with our courtiers. So let's go ahead and do mine first. So I've got a 6. A 6 is 12 plus 3, and 3 is another 6, so that'll be 18. So 18 on top of this, 30, 43. So let's put us down here. We can go ahead and keep this right here just to show that I'm at plus 40 right now. And they're going to get the same 6 times 3, which is 18 again. And so 18, so that would put it at 49 plus 8 would be 57. 57. And you've got a plus 40 now too. Okay. So now we're going to go into the training yards, which hopefully this will give me a bunch of points. So I have 3 in this double space here. So these are multipliers for my courtiers. I've got 4 courtiers out. So we're going to do 4 times whatever this number adds up to. So 3 times 2, that's 6. Plus 1 here is 7. Plus 1 here is 8. So 8 times 4 is going to be 32. Okay, so 32 plus 3 is going to put me at, I can't add right now, 35 up. So that's 75 right now. Now he just has 2. Oh, man, I may win. I don't know. 1, 2 times 3, which is a 6. So 23. Wow. Okay. So they're at 63, and I'm at 75. Did I actually beat the solo opponent on the first try? I may have done that. Let me make sure I'm not missing anything here. I don't think so. Well, there you go. Man, I really didn't expect to win the first time going through this. Now, I did play 2 games. I played on Tabletop Simulator. I played one at 2 players, and I played one at 3 players before this, so I had a little bit of an idea of what I wanted to do. I think I got kind of lucky with the way that the board was set up, and I think I got lucky with how they were drawing out their cards. They weren't going to take many double actions. They weren't surpassing me at any point across this influence track. I had watched a solo how to play before too, and noticed that they tend to get a lot of points if they're higher than you on that influence track. So man, that came out better than I thought. So I don't think, man, I feel like I may be missing some extra point scoring effect on here, but it doesn't seem to say so. We're not getting points for those cards for them or anything, so I guess that may be it. So yeah, what did I say? 75 to 63. That's definitely the most points I've gotten. I'd really love to hit that 80 point one once, because they do have a token for it. But man, that game played out pretty smooth for me for the most part. I mean, I had a little AP in some of these situations, but man, this game is just super fun to me. It's a real fun kind of puzzly game. All right, so let's go ahead and do the review over this game. So I, like I said, I've played 3 games of this now. 2 with people and 1 solo, and man, I've really had a good time with it. You know, the board really changes every time you're even while you're playing. They change quite a bit with the different cards and the action selections that show up. You're kind of having to play on your toes and figure out what you can do to make these actions chain together as best as possible. Being able to chain actions like putting multiple meeples out on the same turn really helps a lot. And I've found that, like, again, each game, even though the puzzle is similar, it's pretty similar each time, the way that you get there is very different, and you just have to kind of deal with what you have on the board. I really like the feeling that it gives you, though, that it's a really quick-paced game, or quick-paced in the sense like your turns might take a minute for you to sit there and figure these out, all these different kind of complicated chain reactions that might happen on one turn, but you only have 9 turns the whole time, and I really like that. I think that is honestly probably my favorite thing about this game, is the fact that there's only 9 turns, and you have to figure out how to make those turns really do a lot for you. And there's some really fun, I mean, it feels really good when you can figure out how to chain those together, especially with just all this stuff out on the board. The iconography of the game, I think, is very easy to pick up and understand very fast. As soon as you hear it once, if you had to read through it once, you're going to remember they're all pretty self-explanatory. I'm sure there's probably something I messed up at some point on this game. I don't know. I really didn't expect to be able to beat the solo opponent the first time through, especially knowing how difficult it can be. And honestly, this is the most points I've gotten to in a game by quite a bit. I don't even think I hit 60 in the first 2 games. So yeah, everything kind of played out well. Hopefully I didn't mess up too much stuff. But feel free, if you see anything, point it out, put it in the comment section. I'll really appreciate that if you do. It'll help me out as well. But I'm really looking forward to getting this game out. I could see playing this at least like once in any game session where you're playing multiple games. It's a great one to throw out in the middle. I would expect, especially on your first game, give yourself a couple hours to play it, but you can definitely get this down to like an hour to an hour and a half even, so somewhere around that range. And it depends on how quick people are to make their turns. Obviously, the solo opponent's making their turns pretty quick. I'm probably taking a little extra time thinking, but this is pretty similar. The amount of thinking that I was doing in this game, it's pretty similar to what anybody would be doing. And I think because I played this at solo and at 2 players and then at 3 players, I think it does play best at 2 players. When you play at 3 or 4, you get to take these actions a second time, and it really complicates your choices. When you're playing at a 2-player game, which is the same thing with a solo game, you only get to place these die in one section at a time, and I think that really helps the game to go more smoothly. It restricts you more, so you're having to like, oh, how do I get things to happen? But it also cuts down all your options. So you're not going, I could put one there, I could get coins, or I could pay a little more coins to do that same action because everybody wants to do the double actions and things like that. But once it's placed here, then it's just like it's done, it's gone, you can't do that action. I think that makes the game run a lot smoother. I feel like this really is best at 2. I've not played it at 4, but I can only imagine it's going to drag on. It dragged on a little bit at 3, but it was still fun. I really enjoyed it at 3. It was still a good time, but I think it really shines at 2, so I'm going to give that my recommendation of how it plays best. There's not really anything I have bad to say about this game. I love the production of it. I think everything's fine. These cards are just basic cards. They don't need to be special. There's no reason why these cards need to feel extra nice. They're just your kind of general, basic, smooth cards. You got cardboard little things here to put all of the dice and these little couple resources here as well. The meeples are cute. They all have their own special shape that's pretty distinct. It seems to carry on the flavor. I like the little pitchforks that these gardeners have. They're kind of fun. They split off at the top. Your cranes are fine. Nothing of it looks garish. It's one way I've heard this game described, and I would agree with, is that it is just an elegant game. It is elegant in the sense that it's very easy to teach. It doesn't take that long to play, and each one of your actions has a lot of choices with it that are really impactful on how you play. So I think those 3 combining together and the aesthetic of it, I think it's a very elegant game, very well done. I think I like this so much better than the Red Cathedral. I think the Red Cathedral was, it had that one really neat mechanic with the wheel and how you place dice around the wheel and chain actions there. But man, having to figure out how to make your one action really work for you in this game is so much fun. And they've got these little bridges here and stuff. Like, this is, probably unnecessary to have these little cardboard bridges, but they just stand out just enough to give it flavor. I don't think I would ever want to play without them. You can just remove these and play on the base here. I don't think I would ever want to do that. I really like the way they look as it is. I love the mechanic of choosing whether you're taking the high or low die and getting to do that bonus lantern action when you can with it. It's just so fun. I don't think I can recommend this enough. Because of how well done this game is, man, I think I want to give it as an official rating, I'm going to give it a 9 out of 10. I think this is just, it's so well done. I'm going to give it that 9 out of 10 because I think this is a game I'm gonna want to play a lot, and I'll be really happy to play it solo. I think it's always great to have somebody else playing with you, but I think I'm only going to want to probably play this at 2 players for the most, unless I want to just show this to multiple people and I'm like, okay, everybody wants to learn the White Castle, let's play it, if I've got multiple people. But I will tend to suggest to people, let's just play it when there's 2 people wanting to play. But I am going to want to get this out regularly. I think this is a lot of fun. It's just so like those, it's big chunky bites. You got all those 9 actions, big bites every time. But man, it's just so nice and chewy and crunchy, or whatever other food references and eating references I can put into this. I think that it just feels so good. It feels like something again that, like, man, I would love to go through this puzzle all over again and see what I can get. I want to get over 80 points. That would be really cool. It's hard to do. It's really surprised to get as many points as I did this time. Again, I probably nerfed myself, or fixed something in my favor on accident. I tried not to, but anyways, there's always some little thing, it seems like, especially when you're shooting a video at the same time, that you might mess up a rule with it. But man, I can't recommend it enough. I think it's a wonderful, wonderful little game. So looking forward to playing it again soon. So I think that's about all I have to say for the White Castle. I hope you enjoyed this. I hope you enjoyed all of this. Like I try to do this whole thing like smashed together, and see if I could do the unboxing, the setup, the solo playthrough, and the review all at once. I think this is the first time I've done that, especially just like straight up opening a game and then just setting it up and playing it immediately. I thought it would be fun to do. I felt like it was going to be doable with this game, and we'll see how that comes out on the video. But again, guys, thank you so much for stopping by. I really appreciate you guys. If you enjoy this kind of content, a couple of those free clicks on the screen, it really helps support out channels like mine. And I can't tell you how much I appreciate it when you do. But as always, do what is right for you. And until next time, I hope you all are having just a wonderful rest of your evening. I'll see you on the next video. Take care and have a great day. Bye-bye.